are stuck in a system with 4 or 7 year payback periods. And that's where PART2 goes wrong. So these companies and banks are also looking at that. But the other thing is also what kind of elements are not in the way you judge a business case at the moment that you actually should. And an example is Philips, that produces lamps that now move more towards a leasing model, where you don't purchase lamps, but you lease actually the light, the functionality of having a light over your desk. And on the one hand, so that means that you have a monthly pay instead of buying the infrastructure. But that also means that Philips remains the owner of the lamp, so making the materials, the rare earth metals, etc., within their own sphere of influence. So in that sense, they're now purchasing these on a very large scale on the world market. Now they have them within their own sphere of influence, which actually mitigates some of the risks they have to purchasing it. Also here you have pros and cons to this argument, but I would say you want to look beyond the models that you currently have to right to a new kind of dynamics. And I think educating them and looking broader and looking beyond the system we're currently in is key.
还有没有大家？
I'm a professor in industrial and systems engineering. I teach supply chain management. Recently, I read a paper on sustainable supply chain, which discuss about how to go about making a sustainable society. I think it's quite similar to the circular economy. And they put up three areas we must consider. One is the environment, one is social responsibility, another one is financial. So how can we balance the three to make in a circular economy, to balance environment and financial as well as social responsibility? That's the first question. The second question is, now we have many new technology, the smart manufacturing, industrial 4, and Internet of Things. How do we incorporate into this global circular economy?
Those are both great questions. The first thing that you mentioned about balancing financial, social, and environmental values, this is sometimes called people, planet, profit within the old environmental sustainability school. And a lot of the time people say that these are equal, that you have a 3-legged stool with these 3 things, and then if one of them gets knocked out, then the stool falls. But I don't believe that's the case, because if we don't have profit, we still have people and a planet. But if we don't have people, then where do we profit? So there is a hierarchy in these systems, and that's one of the things that I believe starts to indicate where the balance must come from. Ultimately, the profit or the financial value is for a purpose. It's usually to make people happy or to provide them with things that they need, resources that they need. So if they can get those in a different way, in a different form of value sharing, then you don't necessarily need to make money, which is an abstract element within an economy that we have basically constructed. So I think it's a much more complex question. But there are some ways to prioritize, for example, biodiversity loss, which is something that people don't think about very much. It's something irreversible, and it's one of the systems that if we destroy that, we cannot return it. So there's different schemes like reversibility and magnitude of impact that you can use to think about why you would prioritize one thing over another. And maybe just very quickly about the Internet of Things, I think these technologies have a huge potential in allowing us to smartly manage resources. Just one example is with a product like this, if you can track the resources through a supply chain and also where they came from using RFID chips or other technologies, you can make a much more efficient disassembly, component disassembly process, whatever you need. And so I think that's one area of massive potential.
Maybe very shortly to add to the last point, a great question. We actually visited the the former RCA site in the city, which was polluted. And what we learned there is also that by law in the region, all trucks that have hazardous waste or industrial waste are actually tracked with a GPS system, so you know real time wherever such a truck is. And I think that explains kind of or maybe not even the first steps, but quite an advanced level already of how do you, in a new reality, I think we come from the reality where you import oil and kind of the big global commodities on a very large scale, and we're moving in the circular economy to something where you have secondary streams coming available in smaller portions, more distributed, and you want to be able to match supply and demand, as I said, with waste streams in construction, but definitely also organic waste streams. So matching supply and demand and getting transparency and knowledge in the market, where are things needed and where do they come available, is definitely where the Internet of Things, although I don't always exactly get what that is, but where I think just digital and virtual platforms can really play a big role in leveraging.
好，那我想我们第一节的Q&A 就先到这里结束。那我知道大家一定还有很多问题，但是呢，就请大家赶快想。然后第二节的时候，我们还有一个 Q&A。那接下来我们就是休息的时间，对不对？那就交给您。
谢谢，也是再次掌声，谢谢陈代表 ，Thank you Eva，Thank you Mark，Thank you so much。非常受用。那如果待会大家呢还有任何的问题，也欢迎集结在我们下一个我们互动研讨当中，可以再次的提问。那接下来呢是我们的中场休息时间，请大家在10分钟之后再次的回到我们的会场现场。再次提醒大家，南侧的位置在门口出去的左手边，那女侧则是在另一侧。那我们会场外面呢备有茶饮以及点心，欢迎您各位现场的嘉宾以及同学们尽情享用。另外，为了使我们的下一次的活动更加的完美，来请各位来宾在会后帮我们简交活动问卷，依照本次的活动感受提供给我们宝贵的建议，作为我们日后举办活动的参考。再次感谢您的配合，谢谢。